The first item on the agenda tonight is our invitation, and I'm going to ask Mr. Deb Potts to lead us in that.
Okay. May we pray. Lord, we come to you thanking you for the many blessings that you bestow upon Davie County Schools, its staff, its students. We thank you for being able to live in such a free nation. And we thank you for the privilege of taking care of business for Davie County Schools and to celebrate the accomplishments of these young folks that are in the audience tonight. You bless us so much, and we're so appreciative. We ask that you'd guide us tonight as we make decisions for the betterment of this county and these students and staff. I ask this in the good Lord's name. Amen.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is going to be our Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'll join me in that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is going to be to approve the minutes from our Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 board meeting. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve those minutes. Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Helms. Do I have a second? I have the second by Mr. Cottle. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is going to be our important dates. Just a couple dates to highlight. April 3rd is going to be the Davie County Board of Commissioners monthly meeting. We will be back together for our monthly meeting next April the 11th. And then coming up in April, April 3rd through 6th will be spring break for students. April 7th is going to be our Easter holiday. And hard to believe we're already into spring. I know this weekend we're looking at getting that extra, or I guess we're springing forward, so we'll have that extra hour of daylight.
This weekend?
Yep, I think it's this weekend, isn't it? It is. Yep. See, you would have been late next week. Okay. Next item is going to be our superintendent's report. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. It is always wonderful to see a packed house, particularly when they're packed with students, and we know the night will hold many recognitions, but those of you that are online that are joining us, and guests and staff, again, thank you for being here. I want to first welcome this young lady to my right, Ms. Carol Stewart. This is her first board meeting, as you announced the last time we were together, that Ms. Nelson is moving and doing some things, doing something different, but we're in good hands, and so Carol, welcome. Thank you. It's just the pace and the way she goes, whew. I said, yeah, but it's okay. I said, I got to have somebody strong with me, and so she's done a fabulous job, and I appreciate you very much. This is School Social Workers Recognition Week, so if tonight's the night, if you need any help with social workers, we got a whole ton of them right here in the front. And I've already been fussed at about why they're here, having to be here, from one of our interns, as a matter of fact, fussing at me. But I know this intern since she's about this long, so she can do that a little bit. So, but either way, but you're going to hear more about them tonight with a presentation. But I want you to know, and I want to say thank you personally to this team, because very often you enter into situations that are not real pretty. And you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You have to, or you couldn't do your job. And I wanted you to know that I really appreciate it, because most people have no clue. And really, it's okay that they have no clue at what you deal with. I mean, it's amazing. But thank you very much for being here, and thank you. And you're obviously welcome to be recognized tonight, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Also aboard this week is North Carolina Severe Weather Preparedness Week. So all schools across North Carolina will participate in a tornado drill, and we also take that opportunity to make sure that we're well aware of all procedures, and we check facilities and doors and different things. But that will take place this week as well. This Thursday, we will be, the day after tomorrow, we will be, most of the district staff and a majority of the board will be at the PTEC Signature Schools Celebration, where we will be honoring William R. Davey, which was selected, Karen, under her leadership and her team, is selected as the signature schools for Davie County schools for this year. Update on the progress on the virtual school and admin building is still moving forward. Clay participated in a construction meeting yesterday, and the last time I was with you, I told you about delays in materials arriving. Well, so fortunately, yesterday there were no additional delays announced. So the temporary certificate of occupancy should be given to us in May, which will allow us to begin to do some things, move some furniture and different things into the building, but we still are not expecting the electrical panels that I mentioned to you last time to be shipped until mid-July, which puts up that they need at least another month probably to get us ready. So we're still talking about August, September. But I'll keep you posted on that. Things are still moving, and we're welcome if you want to go, take a walk back through. Now, it'd be a good time to do that, so I'll be glad to do that. We just need to do it early in the morning or after 5, so I prefer early morning. So we'll work it out with your board. Last month, there was a question about fuel cost, and I followed up on that. So with Jeremy and Clay, we worked together. So we're comparing this first semester that we just finished to 21-22 first semester. We have spent an additional $72,000. And that's running, last year we were running 68 buses every day. This year we're running 65. Now, also understand that the prices last year did not really escalate until January, February. But we're still comparing first semester, and still we're $72,000 more spent this year than we were paying for it last year. So any questions around that? I mean, we will apply for some contingency money, some help, which Mr. Miller, Jeremy has done, but they never cover the full cost. They just have a pool of money, and they just have to divvy it up. They take and add the denominator in there, and they have to divide it out. But we're hopeful, and we have to pay it because we've got to run our buses. So, the district staff is well into preparing for the budget process for next year. Principals have met with parent-teacher organizations. They've met with their school improvement teams. All of that started in December, January. Those proposals were presented to Ms. Haynes, Mr. Harris, myself, and the capital was presented to Mr. Spillman. And we will be presenting information to you all in late April. There will be, again, as I've mentioned, there will be a budget committee formed with board members to walk through the raw data and the requests and how we make some of those decisions. This Thursday, Clay and Jenna and myself, we will be meeting with 13 teachers of the year, and we will basically do an overview of the budget and how we're spending our money. We want to make sure everyone's involved. Next Tuesday, principals will be a part of beginning to prioritize. Now that we've gotten all the requests in from across the district, we will begin to share that information and begin to get their input in prioritizing. I'm not anticipating, if ESSER funding is still intact, and it was in place until September of '24, so we're in good shape, but there's still some things that we've put in place with ESSER funding, which is what it's designed for, but will not be able to continue to do. So we're preparing now for where we will be next year at this time, and we're gathering a lot of input from that. And again, as Ms. Horn has already mentioned, because of spring break, we will not meet the first Tuesday. It will be April the 11th. And that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is going to be our recognitions, and first up is the Davie County High School cheer team, and the presenter will be Mr. Michael Pruitt, the principal at Davie High, I think. Maybe not.
That's close.
Superintendent Wallace, board members, faculty, and guests, regardless of what it says in your agenda, I am not Michael Pruitt. My name is Shane Young, and I'm a teacher at Davie High School. And I'm also an administrative intern, and it is in that capacity that I am here this evening to present our Davie High cheer squad, who won yet 2 more state championships in a long list of state championships. And they also placed 8th out of 113 teams at nationals this year. So the tradition of excellence continues at Davie High under the guidance of cheer coach Angela Stage. Ms. Stage, if you'd come forward, please. Thank you for all of your years of dedication to the program at Davie High School. And ladies, thank you for your dedication and commitment as well. And so I think these belong to you. And there's probably a photo op if I have
Ms. Stage, thank you. Ms. Stage and I go way back. My first year, 2008, I'm going to get in trouble. She was pregnant and lit me up about my second week as a principal there. Woo! Oh, yeah, way. Oh, yeah, way. But I can tell you, she's a phenomenal person. And you heard, as Mr. York, thank you. That doesn't just happen. And I appreciate you. And what you see is what you get, right? But girls, thank you, because I can promise you the dedication that it takes. And if you haven't watched, if you have an image of cheerleading from when you were in school, I strongly encourage you to watch these young ladies, because it's nothing like what I experienced in school. Nothing. But thank you to you and your coaches and your girls and their parents particularly. Thank you.
I guess I need to introduce them.
Okay.
Thank you again for the opportunity. You guys come stand over here because there's too many of you. I hope I don't mess up their names. We've had like 2 months of a break, maybe. Do you want to get in class? Seniors, juniors? No? Seniors first? Or not? Okay. My seniors, Michaela Duty, Zoe Carlton, Ava Brooks Smith, Faith Willard, Reed Marion, Alyssa Perry, and Caden Brown. I have 2 juniors. One is here tonight, Emily Dixon. Harmony Young could not be here tonight. And then my sophomores. They don't look the same because they're all dressed up. Claire Burris, Kaylee Brake, and Megan O'Neill. And my freshmen, Riley Spall, Ellie Dees, and Alyssa Marriott. Thank you. And I'm really sorry that I was mean to you.
I love you, Miss Stage, and you weren't sorry then, so I'm not sure. But I appreciate that 20 years later apology. But okay.
Thank you. Next recognition will be our spelling bee recognition, and the presenter for that will be Mr. Anthony Davis.
I'll wait just a second. So good evening, board members and guests. I will say that Ms. Horn, I didn't know if you'd gotten the last-minute change on that, because I was going to say that I'm not Ms. Line, because she was the one that's supposed to do this. I was going to follow Mr. Young with that. So good evening, everybody, and we want to recognize our district spelling bee winners. And again, I will be doing a lot of reading because Ms. Line, unfortunately, was not able to be here with us. We had our annual spelling bee, district spelling bee, on Thursday, February the 9th. And a big thank you to our administrative assistant, Misty Hutchins, for setting up the logistics and making all the contacts and making this event a huge success, as it is every year. I'd also like to thank the parents and the family members who came to support their children. Thank you, Mr. Potts, for being here and joining us that day as well. And we definitely could not do this without the support of everybody involved, especially our sponsors. And if you look at our sponsors, the main sponsors that we had was Venezia's Italian Restaurant, Davie County Enterprise and Record, and the Moxville Women's Club. So we really appreciate them with their sponsorships and giving the prizes, and otherwise we would not be able to do this. Each elementary and middle school sent one winner to the district spelling bee, and this year it took 21 rounds to declare our first, second, and third place winners, with the winning first place word this year being hackneyed. Okay, I would have missed that because I am not a great speller. In fact, Ms. Line had to tell me exactly how to pronounce this because I would have also pronounced it wrong. So hackneyed was the winning word. In total, Dr. Danny Cartner called out 85 words for this year's spelling bee. We'd like to congratulate our 3 students who placed as our district spelling bee winners, and if they will, when I call their name, to come forward, please. Addison Atkins, 6th grader at South Davie Middle School, 3rd place. Is Addison with us? Addison not here. Olivia Rareshad, 7th grader, William Ellis. And then our winner was first place, Porter Spann, 8th grader at North Davie Middle School. So congratulations to you guys for your accomplishment, but I do want to give you a little bit more information, especially about Porter here. Those of you that have been involved at all with the spelling bee, this is not Porter's first time being up here being recognized. Porter has been our first place winner 3 times in a row in Davie County, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. And he also went on to compete at the regional spelling bee on March the 5th at the Atrium Health Dome. And even though Porter did not win the regional spelling bee, he has had great accomplishments with spelling, and again, a much better speller than I am for sure. But he has won again 6th, 7th, and 8th grade for our district spelling bee. And his mom mentioned that he even won an award at the end of his kindergarten year, and he was called the Super Duper Speller. So it started at a very, very early age. I also want to tell you something that was given to us by Ann Wood, who actually runs the regional spelling bee. Porter made such an impact on her that she contacted us. Again, he didn't win the regional spelling bee, but he made such an impact on her that she had to let us know. It says, Porter is such an amazing kid, and we have been so blessed to watch him grow as a speller and as a human. Davie County has a great thing in Porter, and we definitely would agree with that. So congratulations again to you guys for your accomplishments, and again, congratulations, Porter, on winning it again this year. So.
Next item will be the William Ellis Middle School Math Counts competition, and presenter for that will be Ms. Casey Morrison.
Good evening, board members, staff, and guests. I'm here to recognize, talk about Mr. Davis talking about being uncomfortable about spelling. Well, this next group, I can tell you, I try to avoid that room altogether. But at this time, we do want to recognize them for their outstanding achievement so far. So I'm asking Mr. Rareshad, I think it's Mr. Rareshad, sometimes he goes by another name, is Steve-O, the rapper. So, and maybe we can have him come and visit the board sometime soon. But I'd like for him to come up and tell you a little bit more about the Math Counts win and how each one of them did. So you come on up, Mr. Rich.
Do y'all want to come up, the four of you? Come on up. They don't want to. Tough luck. So Math Counts is a nationwide math competition program for middle school students. All 50 states participate. It's been around for 30 years. And North Carolina, there are 10 regions. Northwest region, Winston-Salem area, Davie County, Davidson, Forsyth County, Yadkin, Stokes, and Surrey. I think that's all. Private and public schools. So our region, we had our competition just a few weeks ago. These guys have been practicing since last summer. Summer practice and practice throughout the year. The regional competition, there were 18 schools who participated, and we were delighted that we took second place. I should mention that the first place school is a school that always wins. I mean, it's Haynes Magnet Middle School in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, but we were close. We honestly, there were 3 rounds, and going to the final round, the team round, we were 2 questions away from catching up to them and defeating them. It didn't happen, but they were very close and very competitive. All 4 of these that you see up here finished in the top 20 of the competitors individually as well. We qualified, the top 3 schools qualified for the state level competition. That occurs next week on Friday, St. Patrick's Day, and we'll be going to that as well. So I want to give a hand to these 4 students, and they are Carden Stroud, Olivia Rarescheid, Jonathan Haynes, and Zach Harada. Congratulations.
Mr. Rashad, thank you, because I know your commitment to this, and I know who was there with them in the summer. But you've done this for years, and I really appreciate that. But I never knew you were a rapper. All right, wait, okay,
It's
wait.
a friend of mine. I'm not gonna, I can't do it like he does it. It's a long story.
All right, okay.
Next on recognitions will be the South Davie Middle School wrestling team, and Ben Beatty is going to present their accomplishments.
All right, thank you, Mr. Superintendent, Madam Chairman, and Board for allowing us to be here tonight to recognize the wrestling team at South Davie. They are the regular season champions and also the tournament champions as well. They're actually back-to-back for both coming into this year. They won it last year as well, regular season and tournament. So that was a great accomplishment. Last year they were this year they were 10-4. Last year 11-3. So 21-7 over the last 2 years, which is a pretty good accomplishment, pretty good record. This year, they started out, ended up with about 30 wrestlers at South Davie, which is a great number. A lot of kids were involved. A lot of people were staying after school to be a part of that team, which is a testament, I think, to Coach Hilton and Coach Drew for all the dedication that they put in and effort and getting kids out there. So they won the regular season. They also won the tournament. And the tournament was represented with 8 different schools at Davie County High School a few Saturdays ago, and had over 150 wrestlers. And in wrestling at middle school level, there's 18 weight classes. South Davie had top 3 finishers in 12 out of the 18 weight classes, which is a great accomplishment. They had 4 third-place finishers, 3 second place, and had 5 actually win their weight class, which is, again, a big accomplishment and a big thing to be proud of. So I want to recognize Coach Hilton, ask him to come up here, and Coach Drew for all the time that they put in this year. We have some members of the team here. Obviously not all 30 of them couldn't make it. Some of them are playing spring sports and stuff like that and couldn't make it. So, but yeah, just want to recognize Coach Hilton and Coach Drew. And the And one more thing with wrestling, I think that the guys had something to give to Coach Hilton as well, something special. So they would like to give that to him.
Okay, and we're going to have Mr. Beatty to continue with recognition for the South Davie Middle School boys basketball team.
Thank you again. Yeah, we had our middle school boys basketball team this year. They won the regular season championship as well. Unfortunately, they are a lot of them playing spring sports, and coaches are coaching spring sports, and so they could not be here tonight. But I will definitely give this to Coach Mayfield and Coach Nance and Coach Wilson. Incredible job they did this year. The boys basketball team, they didn't start out the best, 0-2, but then they rattled off 13 straight wins to finish the regular season at 13-2. Won a couple of games in the tournament, ended up finished second in the conference tournament as well. So another big accomplishment to be proud of for them. I think me and Coach Mayfield were looking at the stats for this year. They averaged scoring 64 points a game and allowed 38 points a game. So a lot of things to be proud of, and I think a lot of their team is coming back next year, so I think they're really looking forward to the next year as well. So again, just to congratulate them.
And next on the agenda is going to be our consent agenda. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve our consent items.
Madam Chair, if I can just interrupt briefly, just to remind the board that you do have an addendum to the personnel report tonight.
Okay. With that addendum included, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Webb. Do I have a second? Okay, I have a second by Mr. Shelton. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? The motion passes. Okay, next on the agenda are our business items, and looks like the first item is going to be recommendation to approve the fall policy updates. Do I have a motion to approve those updates to the fall policy? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Helms. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Webb. Any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Okay, Fall 2022 fall policy updates are approved. Okay, next item is going to be the LED lighting project for Shady Grove, and I'll ask Mr. Harris to share that with us.
Good evening. Tonight, we asked for approval to move forward with the LED project at Shady Grove. If you remember, when we rolled out the capital outlay budget, and there was a project for the LED lights. We come for you tonight to talk about the contract. We've reached out. On January the 25th, we conducted a mandatory pre-bid meeting. We had 3 vendors show up: CW Electric out of Yadkinville, Honeycutt Electric out of Winston-Salem, and Beco Electric out of High Point. All 3 submitted bids, and we opened them on February the 14th. Staff recommends contracting with lowest responsible bidder, CW Electric out of Yadkinville, with accepting alternative 1, which is using the brand name RAB, was our choice for exterior lighting, in the amount of $184,947. CW Electric is responsible for submitting all energy rebates to Duke Energy, with an estimated refund to Davie County Schools of $25,000, and that will offset part of this $184,000 for the project. Our recommendation is we move forward. There's a tab. I think y'all have the tab sheet as well for the 3, all 3 that submitted their budget, their bids. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. So this time, I'll ask for a motion to approve the LED lighting project for Shady Grove. I think we're going to take, but yeah, do I have a motion to approve first, and then we can have discussion? Okay, Ms. Helms, I have a motion. Do I have a second by Ms. Webb? Okay, discussion. Mr. Drexler.
Mr. Shelton, this, probably you know this better than anybody around the table outside of the administrators that we're working with at Ms. Harris. The difference between bid number 1 and number 3 blows my mind, that it was that great a difference between the one that you're asking that we just discussed.
We were very surprised as well. And so Mr. Spillman reached back out to CW Electric and said, I want to make sure you understand what's in the bid and everything else. He understood exactly what it was. He was comfortable with his bid offer, and so that's the reason we moved forward with that. We were very surprised because, I mean, if you look at all 3 of them, I mean, there's quite a bit of difference in all 3 of them where they reside, how we landed. So he went back just to make sure that we are on the same page and we are looking at exactly what we need to do, and they were very comfortable with that.
So what you're asking for us to approve is the 184,947 or the 159 that will actually, the 159,947, I believe it was.
The 184.
So we approve the whole thing, and then later a rebate comes back.
Right.
Does it come to us or to?
To us. It comes back to us.
So the bottom line, after approval, we're going to spend roughly $160,000.
$160,000. Yep.
So move quickly.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve by Mr. Drexler. Do I have a, well, we've already voted. So, okay, so I will ask that we approve the contract with CW Electric Company for the LED lighting project at Shady Grove. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Okay, motion passes. Next item is the Davie High School graduation date, and I believe, sorry, I'm still trying to get used to this new.
Good.
Gonna ask
Board is
Mr.
tradition,
Wallace.
it's time to think about graduation. We're praying we get through the rest of the year without snow days or anything, so we're getting there, we're a lot closer. Traditionally, we set our graduation date in March once the inclement weather's typically past us. But I'm proposing to you tonight that we have Davie County High School graduation will be Saturday, June the 10th at 8:30 a.m. at War Eagle Stadium. And I'll be glad to address any questions.
Okay, if there aren't any questions, do you have a question? Okay. If there aren't any questions, then I'll ask for a motion to approve. Do I have a motion? Okay, Mr. Drexler, do I have a second? Mr. Shelton? Okay, if no further discussion, I'll ask for the motion to approve the Davie High School graduation date for Saturday, June 10th at 8:30 a.m. at War Eagle Stadium. All in favor? Okay, motion passes and graduation date is set. Okay, next item is going to be our committee staff, oh, I'm sorry, we're going to have Ms. Haynes is going to have an addendum item for us.
Right, one addendum to the agenda tonight is to bring the early college calendar for 2023-24 back to you. This was presented in the February board meeting. We shared this proposed calendar that was developed collaboratively by the Davie County Early College staff. So we bring that tonight for your approval.
Okay, do we have any questions for Ms. Haynes? Okay, if not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the school calendar for the early college for 2023 through 2024 school year. Do you have a motion? Okay, I want to have a motion by Mr. Cottle, and then I'll have a second by Mr. Shelton. If no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Okay, motion passes. Okay, next item is going to be our committee staff report, and first on that is going to be our facility naming committee, and I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Wallace.
I don't get to tell Clyde Scott to do much, but I motioned. Did you see him look at me? Come on up here, Mr. Scott. Diane, Yvette, please. Am I missing anyone? Valerie? She kind of tucked away there.
Yeah.
Board renovations to the virtual school administration building is scheduled to be completed this summer. Last fall, the Davie County Board of Education tasked Superintendent Wallace, myself, to organize a facility naming committee according to Board Policy 9300 and bring a proposal to the Board of Education for a name for the new facility, for the renovated facility. The facility naming committee, which many of you see here behind me tonight, are Valerie Feeser, Principal to Virtual School, Mr. Clyde Scott Sr., Mr. Dub Potts. Dub, you need to come on up because we're going to do a picture here in a minute. So you can come on, just, if I can tell Clyde Scott what to do and Dub Potts what to do. So, Mr. Clay Harris. Mr. Stevie Doolin, who is not here tonight, Mr. Chad Helton, Diane Ireland, who is a staff member, Ms. Yvette Shore is also with us, is a staff member. The committee met on January 13th of 23 and again on February 17th of 23 to discuss and select a building name to be presented to the Board of Education. The committee is proud to bring the recommendation to you tonight to the newly renovated facility to be named the Davie County Schools Mebane Education Center in honor of Mr. Alan Mebane. Mr. Mebane's commitment to improving early grades education for all children, coupled with substantial financial support throughout the years, has been instrumental in the continuous improvement of early childhood literacy in Davie County. The Facility Naming Committee is proud to recommend and recognize Alan Mebane's support and contribution to the students and staff in Davie County schools. This will be presented to you as information tonight, but we will be asking you to vote on this recommendation at the next board meeting, according to board policy. At this time, I have asked this group to come up and say a few words. In particular, Ms. Shore, Ms. Yvette Shore, Ms. Diane Ireland. No, but I would like for them to come share just a little bit about how Mr. Mebane had an influence on them and the foundation and what they were able to do back in 2008, 9, 10, somewhere right through there. And then we would, if anyone else would like to share a few words, I'd be glad to. So you two are up front.
have to be honest, I got a little choked up because we spent hours in this room and made dinner as we participated in the satellite program for instructional technology through Appalachian State University. The impact of that and the sponsorship of that from Mebane Foundation, the impact goes on with every student that walks through my classroom door. And Ms. Ireland, there were 16 of us. And again, that just continues with all the technology that we currently have, the technology that we'll get, and the technology that the kids have to help deliver instruction and to just make Davie County the best place ever. We've mentored others. Yes. And we also continue that through student teachers that we receive and, the people on our hallways. So it's one of those things that it pays back, and we're appreciative.
Absolutely. And as an elementary person, I just have seen the benefits with the preschool coming along in each of the schools, and the benefits so much. Even going back to now, like Kinder Camp grants, that the Mebane Foundation and Mr. Mebane himself, when we met with him years ago, his desire to enrich all children in all walks of life was so empowering to me, and I think it's just a dedication to him and his honor to present the name for that as much as he's done for our county.
Good evening, everyone. I count it an honor to be asked to serve on this committee. Some 56 years ago, I walked across the stage of a building here, graduated from Davie County Training School. And it's an honor to be here and speak to you on behalf of Davie County Training School. Dr. Wallace asked me if I would serve on the committee and I agreed to do that, just that. Some 56 years ago, I graduated from school here, and I'm just proud to be a part of this community. I know firsthand from 3 or 4 kids graduated from Davie County Training School. A wife is administrator in Davie County Training School, of the contribution of the Mebane Foundation. Thank all of you for what you do, and I'd like to also thank the board and Dr. Wallace for the vision of Davie County Schools that they share with the committee. Thank you.
And some of our guests might not be aware, but we just concluded with the Davie Leads project, where the Mebane Foundation contributed over $2.5 million over a 5-year span to Davie County schools. All of our preschool buildings that's on our 6 elementary schools were funded by the Mebane Foundation. The Mebane Masters was Mr. Mebane put out a challenge to our community to reach a certain goal, and then he would match. It's been ongoing. But I also want to make two final points. The investment in our community by people like that makes us different. But I'm also going to tell you something. A man that graduated 50 or 60 years ago still willing to contribute to a school system, that makes us different too. Clyde, I couldn't tell you. It's an honor for you to... I'm glad you think it's an honor, but I'm telling you, we stand on your shoulders many times. For someone, again, now think about that a minute. Most people that graduated 50, 60 years ago have nothing to do with schools. He gladly participated. And that doesn't just happen. And I appreciate that a lot in Clyde and all of this group, because we do lean on you, Clyde, and many of you, and then the Mebane Masters, and I've seen these two in the classroom. I know what they do. But it takes the whole community to make us better. So thank you to all of you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Ms. Horn, one more thing, Board, as we move forward with this project, there will be, once we get in the building, we'll have a grand opening, and I have discussed this with the Executive Director of the Mebane Foundation, Mr. Larry Colburn, who has obviously gotten the approval of this from Ms. Mebane. So we'll continue to move forward. I just want to present it tonight, according to Board policies, information, and then we'll come back and ask for a vote for this recommendation, for this proposal next month.
Thank you, and thank you all for serving on that committee. Next item is going to be by Mr. Otranto for school nutrition, and he will be sharing with us info on National Nutrition Month and National School Breakfast Week.
By making sure, thank you, Eddie, by making sure that we're eating a nutritious, well-balanced, and moderate diet to help us be fueled for life and for a lifetime of good health. So it's for all of us. But taking that theme a little bit further, we also, in the school nutrition community, celebrate the first week of March as National School Breakfast Week. And our theme this year for National School Breakfast Week is dig into school breakfast. And I think you'll see our table over here. Jeremy, could you hand out those forms? Our table over here, it's festooned with the construction idea of digging into school breakfast. So we're dressed to dig into it. And so in our cafeterias, you'll see little trucks and little backhoes and little bulldozers addressed and decorated throughout the cafeteria. But what we're doing at Pine Brook Elementary is we're using this as an opportunity to pilot what we see as being our breakfast for next school year in elementary schools. As you may know, we serve universal free breakfast in our elementary schools, and that is self-funded by my department. We fund that completely so that every child, every student is allowed the opportunity to start at a level playing field, fueling their bodies so they can learn. Every educator knows that you cannot teach a hungry child. And the first step to learning is a nutritious breakfast. So, Jeremy, do you hand those out to the board? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. Well, actually, the first step is getting the kids to the school. So thank you very much, Jeremy. I appreciate that. But then we have to fuel the kids. And so what we've done is we've put together a breakfast of choice where instead of one hot entree or two hot entrees, we have 7 entrees available for the students. We have picked the 5 best hot entrees that we serve. We can look at our history, look at our data, and select those. But we've also added in a choice of 2 to 3 different kinds of assorted cereals. We've also added Pop-Tarts, cinnamon rolls, a grab-and-go bag, including a cheese stick, a yogurt. We have a breakfast cereal bar. So basically, the kids get lots of choice. And here are some of the comments that the kids have given us just over the last 2 days. The parent of Jaden says, the mini donuts were so good, or Jaden said, the mini donuts were so good, they were the best. Mrs. Miller's class said, Charlie said, it's super duper good. And Molly said, they give us so much choice. Okay. Another class, Sophia said, so glad that the breakfast cereal is back. We had gotten away from cereal over the last couple years with COVID, and just offered hot biscuits and other items. But right now, with this choice, we're giving them a choice of 2 to 3 cereals a day, and it's overwhelming almost. Asia said, keep this breakfast, I love it. And Regis, he got into the theme. He says, I dig the cinnamon rolls. Sawyer says, I love it all. And we even had an instructional assistant. Miss Tammy says, school breakfast is a bomb. Okay. Other comments, great donuts, because we have a mini donut, mini powder donuts that is one of the choices, and that we're excited about the new additions. And then the students as a group, they said, we love the strawberry milk. So the strawberry milk is back. We hadn't had that till the last couple of weeks. And our participation has increased 17% at Pine Brook, but we have more work to do with codifying this meal by making sure that we can feed all 400 students within the 20-minute time frame that we get for breakfast as the bus and cars unload. So it's a logistical opportunity. But the ladies there are doing a great job. Please, if you have the opportunity, go to one of our schools, see what we're doing for breakfast, but specifically Pine Brook, and you can see the breakfast of choice where they have a plenitude of opportunities there. The last thing I just want to say is that I want to thank the administration for letting us have the opportunity to come up here and just talk about school breakfast, because without food in the body, we can't fuel the brain and we can't learn. So breakfast is so critical, and that's why I believed in universal free breakfast. Back in 2002, I was like the second one in the state to implement universal free breakfast where I was, and I'm just so glad that we have it here, but we need to take it to the next level, because the student satisfaction is my barometer of whether we're doing a good job. I mean, we want participation up, we want our federal reimbursements up, but their satisfaction is our goal. And if they're not eating breakfast, then they're not getting nutrition and they can't learn, so I'm going to do my job. So I want to make sure that we get high satisfaction. And my goal is to get it up 80, 90%. Okay. But thank you for your support. Thank you, folks.
Thank you for that. Next item is going to be Student Services, and Ms. Custer is going to speak with us about School Social Worker Month.
I'm not sure we can follow that, but we will try. So after Jeremy gets the kids there and Joe helps us to feed them, this amazing group helps us to take care of the kids while they're in the building so the teachers can teach. So I'm going to ask a couple of the social workers to come on up with me that are helping to present this evening. Sorry, Madam Chair, board members, Mr. Wallace, and guests, friends, co-workers. I am very excited to share with you this evening. A couple weeks ago, I woke up with the idea about sharing about our social workers, especially in regards to this week being our School Social Week, National School Social Work Week. So I wanted to take just a few minutes with you to share a little bit more with you about this amazing group of ladies. So this is we have all of our staff here tonight with us, and I'm very excited to recognize each of them. So we have Sydney Bowles, Amy Gould, Paulina Hanner, Andrea Collins, Aubrey Drone, and Allie Fruits could not be with us this evening. And we have two of our amazing interns with us, Hannah Davis and Madison Rogers. And Hannah and Madison just started with us this semester. Coming to us from Winston-Salem State and Appalachian State as social work interns. So they are definitely learning from the best of the best. We actually met with Hannah's cooperating professor this morning and had a great visit with her, and she was amazed at what she's being exposed to in the real life of social work, school social work. We are very excited this year. One of our additional social workers is able to be funded through ESSER funds. And then we also wrote another grant through what is called a Missing Children's Grant. So we have Allie Fruits with us for 20 hours a week to help support the needs as well. So at the state level, as a lot of folks talk about the term student services, but the state has been recognizing for about the past year now what are called SISIPs, and those are specialized instructional support personnel. So as you look at this, you'll see our school counselors, our school social workers, our school psychologists, and our school nurses. So all of this amazing staff comes into play each and every day to serve and help to take care of our students' many needs so that they can be successful in the building. As you think about our school social workers, and you may not realize many of the hats that these ladies wear each and every day. So we wanted to share a few of those with you to help you recognize and understand a little bit more about their role. It's more than just attendance and truancy court. There's a lot more that goes into that. And Aubrey and I were laughing about we really should have been first on the agenda because we had a whole group of parents here. We were ready. We were ready for that. So we want to take just a few minutes to share a little bit more with you. As becoming a school social worker, there's a lot of things that goes into their training. Providing supports and services for students, impacting their social, emotional, and academic and physical needs as well. The research on the effectiveness of school social workers increases student outcomes related to academic, physical, psychological, improved mental health and behavior, improved attendance. There's just so many things that these ladies continue to support within our buildings each and every day, and you can see a wide list there at the bottom of what some of their services continue to include for us.
Good evening. One population of students that we support as school social workers is our McKinney-Vento students. So McKinney-Vento Education of Homeless Children and Youth Assistance Act is the primary piece of legislation dealing with education of children and youth who are currently experiencing homelessness. McKinney-Vento defines homelessness as individuals who lack fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. Examples include children who are sharing housing with other people due to loss of housing, economic hardship, or other similar reason, children who are living in hotels or campgrounds without adequate housing, and children who are living in emergency or transitional shelters. So during the 21-22 school year, we identified 139 Davie County School students as homeless under McKinney-Vento. Currently, so far for the 22-23 school year, we've identified 103 students as McKinney-Vento. Once identified as homeless, students are eligible for services for the remainder of the school year, regardless of whether or not they establish permanent housing. Eligibility ensures that students are immediately enrolled in school, or they are allowed to stay in their school of origin, receive free lunch, and transportation to and from their school of origin is arranged. Examples of some services provided to the McKinney-Vento students include referrals to local agencies and organizations, coordinating and arranging transportation. Thanks, Jeremy. Purchasing school supplies, school clothes, toiletries, and other basic necessities, as well as assisting with emergency housing like short-term hotel stays. Not only do we provide services for students identified as homeless under McKinney-Vento, but children who are in the foster care system are also eligible for services through the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. Each school social worker assigned to a school works closely with our local DSS child welfare community partners regularly in order to meet the needs of students in foster care. Within our social work team, we also have a district foster care point of contact, which is Ms. Sydney Bowles. She, as the point of contact, participates in trainings throughout the year and is responsible for maintaining foster care and ESSA paperwork for every student in Davie County Schools who is in foster care. When a child enters foster care, the DSS foster care social worker will coordinate with either the assigned school social worker or our district point of contact, Ms. Bowles, to set up a best interest determination meeting, or as we call it, a BID meeting, that allows all parties who are invested in the life of that child, from the school social worker, DSS social worker, parents, guardians, foster parents, whoever is involved, to come together and have this meeting and determine if it's in the child's best interest to stay in their school of origin. School of origin is the school they are in and attend prior to entering foster care. Immediate enrollment. This allows a student to be immediately enrolled in school without having to produce all the same records that a student not in foster care would have to produce. Some examples could be the birth certificate or proof of residency. And then an important fact also just to share is that kids in foster care that have been adopted after their 12th birthdays or that age out of foster care, so they turn 18, they are eligible for free college at an in-state university or community college just by meeting those criteria. So on the FAFSA for financial aid, there is specifically a box that asks, have you been at any point a ward of the state, or are you currently? So just some 21-22 school social work statistics to share with you all this evening. Last school year, school social workers completed 176 home visits. We made 319 prevention contacts. We made 1,944 collaborative contacts with teachers, school admin, behavior specialists, school counselors, school nurses, school psychs, other school staff, and community partners. We spent over 93 hours on truancy court-related tasks. We provided 369 resources and referrals to students and their families. We provided crisis support to students and families 264 times, crisis support being unexpected student behavior situations or crisis family situations at a medium to high intensity level. This can include debriefing after a crisis and district crisis team activities. We also led lunch groups and provided social emotional behavior support to students 130 times last year. And as a district, we made 151 reports of suspected child abuse and neglect to our local Department of Social Services. So Davie County Schools uses a human monitoring system to monitor school devices and student email accounts called SafeMail. Human monitoring through SafeMail really gives us a unique, proactive approach to addressing some of the obstacles many of our students are facing that helps us ensure the safety of our students. So last school year, we averaged about 23 SafeMail alerts that can be considered emergencies per month that included an array of areas, but these are our top 5. So self-harm, depression, conflict, bullying, and interpersonal conflict. So overall, for last school year, school social workers received and assessed 240 potential threats through our Safe Mail human monitoring system and responded accordingly. School social workers in our district really work diligently in trying to support school staff with proactively responding and intervening in these potential emergency situations related to student safety, school safety, and behavior situations. Also, just want to throw out there that school social workers do receive these alerts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, except for in the summer when students don't have their devices. Ms. Hanner?
Good evening, and thank you again for having us share tonight. In addition to the roles that Ms. Strawn has shared, school social workers also are responsible for truancy court. The North Carolina state attendance law is a law that some families, honestly, when their children enroll in school, they may not be super familiar with. So that is something that we provide education to families. We make families aware. We have school attendance 101 sheets that are personalized for every school that we can provide as a resource to help educate our families about the attendance law and as well as the school district note policy. In North Carolina, children are required to attend school from ages 7 to 16. School social workers, we monitor school attendance, and we are also responsible for filing truancy charges when we have exhausted all other options. There are a lot of interventions that go into case management before we ever even get to the point of considering truancy. A lot of contacts with the family, with the student, home visits, meetings held with administrators and other support staff in our school buildings before we ever get to this point. In the school year of 2021-2022, new parent charges for truancy court were at 8 for the district. New juvenile charges were at 6, and total open parent cases were a total of 17 for the whole district. Total open juvenile cases related to truancy were 9. In addition to the many other roles that we have and other agencies we collaborate with, school social workers also collaborate with the Davie Department of Juvenile Justice and Piedmont Mediation. And these are both resources and agencies that help support us when we are looking at families and students that have particular attendance concerns. We may even consider Piedmont Mediation as a resource to defer from going down the truancy court route, if at all possible. It takes a village, so community collaboration is something that we know very well. Our team is very well connected with the list of agencies that you see on the screen. There are plenty more agencies, even outside of our county, that we all collaborate with at one point or another, especially when we have families that may transition to other districts. We definitely help provide support, help them even secure housing and items for new housing that may or may not even be in our district at certain points. So this is just a snapshot of other providers and agencies that help us do our job as well. So behind the scenes, we've shared a little bit, or we've shared quite a bit at this point of what school social workers, what our role entails and what we do on a day-to-day basis, but we also continue to further our education as well. We participate in student services, staff book studies to continue to be part of our district-wide student services team and to learn collectively together about additional ways we can all support our students and families. Crisis prevention intervention staff training. I'm also one of the district CPI trainers, so helping our staff to understand what safe crisis prevention can look like in our schools if a crisis was to arise. we have in the middle here, we've got a little picture of a food bag. So making sure our kids not only are being fed at school, but that they have food that they can take home on the weekends if that is a need. A lot of our kids, unfortunately, face food insecurities, so that is a need we've seen. Lunch bunches, so talking about our social emotional learning, those are great opportunities for school social workers to really connect with a smaller group of students and really focus in on what their specific needs or supports may be as a small group. And Ms. Drawn has shared her regulation station, which she uses actually in one of her lunch bunch groups, and it allows the students to go through and select different activities that they would like to learn about in a social emotional learning capacity.
Hi, my name is Madison. I'm the intern from Appalachian State.
And I'm Hannah Davis, the intern from Winston-Salem State University. So we were going to share just a little bit of what we've had the opportunity to do being with Davie County Schools over the last couple of weeks. So we have gone on a few home visits as needed with the wonderful social workers that have let us go with them. We've went to truancy court, and that was a great opportunity. As they mentioned earlier, they partner with a place called the Dragonfly House, and when kids are often referred to there, we go to case review for them to be able to see how they are in school systems and be able to pull up behaviors and such like that. They talked a little bit about community partners in the previous slide, but we have been able to communicate with those community partners and be able to set up some things and be able to help out when the social workers need. We also attend student services meetings where we're able to sit in and listen to how they collaborate with a kid and what services are needed for each kid. Each kid is very unique in their needs, and so they do a very good job at being able to pull those out and advocate for kids when needed and be able to work with other staff. And we've also had the opportunity, thank you Jeremy again, to do transportation requests and to be able to work with them, and they work with us, so they've been very grateful to help us interns as well.
Yeah, following Hannah, we're also able to do SEL activities at the high school with the Soaring Eagles. We do lunch groups at the elementary school. We do child and family team meetings, student check-ins if anyone's dysregulated, needs support, anything like that. And we're also doing forward-facing for educators book study. And I just want to thank all of the lovely social workers for giving this opportunity. We really are learning from the absolute best, so thank you.
So as I shared with you at the beginning, this is the School Social Work Week, and they have a theme each year, and it is We Rise. And so as you think about that and what all we've shared, and we think about the diligency that they all give to help ensure that all of our students rise to the best that they possibly can. So we're so thankful for them, and Officer Jones wanted to share.
Hey, I just wanted to say that I've worked with a lot of these ladies over the years, a lot. You won't find a more dedicated bunch of young ladies that are totally committed to their jobs and their kids, and they're just fantastic. And I just want you guys to know that we appreciate everything you do, and we see you. Okay. All right, thanks.
That's not a good way for me to end, so I apologize. They are an amazing group, and in the 4 years that I've been blessed to be the Student Services Director, they've helped me to learn a lot. They've helped me to learn about how to dig deeper into some situations to support and provide the needs not only for our students and their families, but for our staffs. So I just want to say a special thank you to each of them. And it's just a small week, but thank you so much for all you do, and we're so grateful for the interns and all that they've been a part of. So thank you all very much. Interns on the front. You gotta earn them back.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I know that's just it was a great presentation to show us what you do, but I know it is just a snippet and a very high level of really what you're in the trenches doing, and I'm sure just being here tonight, just another example of you all going above and beyond, so thank you all. We appreciate it, and I know the last couple of years have probably been especially tough, so just know we do thank you for all you've done. Next item on the agenda is our public address to the board, and Ms. Wilson, do we have anybody?
We do not have anybody for tonight, so I will just wish you all a happy spring, and we'll move from there.
And that brings us to our adjournment. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Helms, and I have a second by Mr. Caudle. All in favor of adjourning for the evening? Motion passes. We are adjourned.